understand you fellas and I are in the same business, or at least we're gonna be. Well, it's a mighty good business. We got a lot going for us. Just look up any street in any residential neighborhood. Most of the houses you see will be framed, and the people who live in them are potential customers for our siding. It doesn't matter if they're small homes, medium-sized homes, or big ones, if they're old or new. They all represent a market which is demanding more and more aluminum, from windows to rain-carrying equipment to furniture. And now, biggest of all, aluminum siding, made by Alcoa. You know, there are over 60 million homes in this country, and over 1 million, and every one of them has 4 sides. 4 sides exposed to the sun, the rain, chemicals, smoke, nearby factory, moisture from the inside working away at the paint. And in every one of those homes is a man who's worried about that deterioration. Because we Americans are proud of our homes, have a tradition about taking care of them. Well, that means frequent painting and maintenance for protection and appearance. It gets tiresome and expensive. Well, that's where you and I come in. Today, we can offer that homeowner freedom from his deterioration worries. A quality siding with long-lasting beauty and without upkeep expense pays for itself in just a few years. A great name of American industry stands behind your product. Alcoa, a name every homeowner will recognize and trust. The name Alcoa on a piece of siding means something to the homeowner and to you. It means you're dealing with the founder and the greatest name in the aluminum industry. Alcoa pioneered an aluminum building market with their own Alcoa building. And for years, they've worked with manufacturers in pioneering the aluminum residential siding market. Because they've always been close to this business, the Alcoa people know just what good siding should be, and that's what they've developed. Here's the American public has been getting excited about aluminum siding. Sales have increased many-fold in the last few years, and we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the sales potential. There's a tremendous market, and it's just beginning to break. It demanded a big supplier with an outstanding product. That's Alcoa. Gives you a good feeling to know that behind you stands the company that built the aluminum industry, starting with ore mines in Arkansas and in South America. Alcoa plants for refining and processing aluminum are the biggest and most modern in the world. Every step from smelting to casting to rolling is quality controlled. When you see that name Alcoa on the siding you're putting on, mister, you know there are resources behind it. You've joined the first team. Aluminum, you know, is used in hundreds of ways, and every product requires its own special kind of research. Yes, sir, there's a lot more to a piece of siding than you'd ever guess just by looking at it. The aluminum in Alcoa siding is in 3 layers. A new aluminum alloy in the center for strength, and then a special protective outer layer, metallurgically bonded to each side, called Alclad. Aluminum, you know, just naturally resists corrosion, and this Alclad just makes it more so. But that's not all. Alcoa treats the Alclad surface with a process called bonderizing, which cleans and roughs up the surface a little to guarantee that the finish will hold. The outer layer is the new Alcoa Alumalure finish that will last longer than any other finish on the market. It doesn't chip, crack, flake, or peel, and it comes in these new beautiful colors: Alcoa White, Alcoa Beige, Alcoa Green, Alcoa Yellow, and Alcoa Gray. Another important feature of Alcoa siding is the fact that the back of each panel gets a protective finish. Then, a thick layer of insulation. Alcoa applies heat-saving, thick plastic foam insulation right in the factory. For you, that means time and money saved on the job. For your customer, it means insulation that will cut his fuel bill substantially. Insulation is one big reason why it's easy to show homeowners that Alcoa aluminum siding pays for itself. To complete the panelized construction and improve rigidity of the panel, Alcoa Siding is backed with Alcoa aluminum foil, which further insulates by reflecting radiant heat right back into the house, like a mirror. The foil is applied at the factory, which means we don't have to handle it anymore. A big time and money saver. Matter of fact, that's one big reason why there's profit in applying Alcoa Siding. It's a one-step installation job. No more putting foil on separately. No more separate backing either. One panel, one step. Everything about the design of this Alcoa aluminum siding makes it easy to do a fast, neat job. It comes in a complete line, 8-inch horizontal insulated, 8-inch horizontal non-insulated. Also vertical siding, insulated and non-insulated. You'll use vertical siding primarily for decorative effects, on gables, porch ceilings, eave enclosures, and to vary the line of a wall. Alcoa has designed aluminum accessories just for use with Alcoa aluminum siding. For example, the perimeter gives you the number of feet of starter strip required for the job. From the height of the building at the corners, you can determine the amount of inside corner you'll need. Here's your outside corner cap, window head flashing and vertical base flashing, undersill and general purpose trim, and window and door trim, U-channel. All these you order according to the requirements of the job. Use these for the right color match and for the best possible results. You can be sure you have the correct accessories when you see the embossed Alcoa label on each piece. The tools are the same ones you have around the shop right now. For best results, be sure you have the right blade on your power saw. One suggested cutting blade for aluminum is 1/16 of an inch thick and has 6 teeth per inch. You see, the tool investment to go into this business is nothing at all. Now let's go to a new home job site and follow a job step by step. I think you're going to be surprised how easy it is to work with Alcoa aluminum siding. The first step is to measure the house in square feet to determine how much siding you'll need. Measure the height of each wall and then the length. You multiply the two. If your wall is 8 feet high and 20 feet long, you have 160 square feet. Then you measure any windows and doors in the same way and deduct half that amount from your total for the wall. You go around the whole house this way. With gables, you multiply the width by the height and divide by 2. Then add about 30% to allow for waste. Add up your figures for the entire house and then divide by 100. Alcoa aluminum siding comes in squares which cover 100 square feet. Next, nail down all loose boards and sheathing. On older homes, replace rotten boards because they're going to be under there for a long time. Also, on an older home, remove downspouts and all other accessories. Then check the house for level. If there's a difference in level, find the lowest corner. Place a short piece of starter strip along the base and locate a chalk line nail just above it. Next, measure down from the eave to your chalk line nail. Now, using your first measurement, locate your second chalk line nail at the next corner. This guarantees that your aluminum siding job will come out with a neat fit. Locate chalk line nails in the same way at each corner. On a long wall, make an extra measurement for a center chalk line nail to be sure you have a parallel line. A perfectly parallel siding job is the mark of a professional, and it begins right here with a straight chalk line. You can also use an assistant to help you sight the line into position. As he holds center, snap the line on each side. Of course, on a short wall, just stretch the line taut and snap. Then, nail your starter strip in place. Always fasten these aluminum accessories and siding with Alcoa Siding nails. When your starter strip is that straight, you're on your way to a good job. As you continue your starter strip around the house, use a short length of the strip to align each succeeding piece. The starter strip must always be located short of accessories, such as inside and outside corners, to allow room for the accessories you'll put on later. After you've installed your starter strip, put up the other accessories, such as this inside corner piece. Measure window and door trim and attach it on each side of all windows and doors. Now, it's important to caulk around the doors and windows before you apply the trim. Such careful workmanship is the best foundation for a good reputation in the aluminum siding business. Above windows and doors, apply window head flashing, allowing a slight overhang on each side. This overhang can be bent down for flashing. Undersill trim is applied later in the job. Final step, apply window and door trim along the rake edge of each gable. And now you're ready to apply the Alcoa siding itself. Hold the panel at the bottom and slip it up firmly into the starter strip. The panel should not be pulled from the top. This will flex it out of shape so that the panel next to it will not fit properly. Nail the panel in place with Alcoa siding nails, spaced approximately 16 inches on center into the studs. Notice that all nail holes are pre-punched for you and are slotted horizontally to allow for expansion and contraction. Be sure to place nails in the center of the slots. Now that brings up an important point. Don't drive those nails tight. Panels slide on the nail during temperature changes. If they can't slide, they'll buckle. Nail firm, not tight. Tight nailing can make the next panel harder to install and give the finished job a wavy look. Skillful nailing is one of the most important professional tricks in this business. Now, often, you'll run into a step down like this. In such cases, you panel the lower step first, covering the entire area, but placing the top of your step panel in line to receive the panel above it, like this. Alcoa siding can be lapped in either direction. For best appearance, lap away from doorways and from front to back of the house. Irregular field cuts like this one can look bad. Always plan to lap them under the factory cut. Lap lines, accentuated here by shadow, should always be staggered. No lap should be directly above another unless the two are separated by at least 2 courses. On these demonstration walls, you can see some of the techniques to be used on the older home. To handle an offset, lay a chalk line and measure. Then build up furring strips to equal the amount of offset and nail them in place. Reduce this buildup as you move down the wall until a single furring strip just fits under the chalk line. Small steps like this contribute to a nice, smooth job. The lowest lap on an older home is usually inset. Hold the starter strip against the wall vertically to determine how much of the lap is inset, and then fur out to make a base for your starter strip. You can also use the starter strip vertically to check the pitch of each panel. It should always measure about the same depth, just below the nailing edge. When the depth is off, as it is in this case, then you get a better looking job if you fur out the nailing edge to the proper measurement. The face of the panel will then be the same pitch as those below it. It looks good, and it avoids the possibility of an apparent color change or a spongy feeling of a panel without solid support. It's best to apply siding on a flat wall, but Alcoa siding can cover many uneven wall conditions. You'd make your panel wavy if you nailed at these low spots. To avoid this, fur out at the low spots until the panel is even, and then nail in place. For vertical siding over a horizontal lap, place your furring in measured steps so the nailing edge of the panel lies over the furring. All these techniques help to guarantee a professional siding job on an older home. But let's get back to the new home we've been working on, where we're lining up our panel at the first corner. Insulated siding should always stop 1/4 of an inch from an outside corner. That 1/4 inch is the space needed to get a good fit with the outside corner cap. For uninsulated siding, to get the same good fit, the panel should be 3/4 of an inch from each outside corner. If you're careful about these corner measurements, you'll have a good lap and the cap won't interfere with your panel nailing tabs. When you go around a corner, you must keep your new panels in line with the completed wall. One way to do this is to use the outside corner cap. Seat it firmly in the completed panel, and then seat the new panel evenly in the cap. Do this for each succeeding course as you put it up. Alcoa has pre-punched 3 nail holes into its corner trim to allow you to choose the best seating for your nail. Only 1 nail is necessary, but if you prefer to use 2, the holes are staggered to allow for both. Alcoa aluminum siding has been engineered with a snap-fit interlock. Raise the panel firmly into place from the bottom, like this, and you can be sure you have a weatherproof fit. The job moves fast with Alcoa's 12.5-foot panels. Before you know it, you're up to the windows. Here's the technique for fitting a panel under a window. Place a short piece of siding next to the window and measure the depth to the wall. To keep the panel under the window in line, you'll have to fur out that same distance. Nail the furring under the sill. And then apply the undersill and general purpose trim. A siding panel must now be measured and cut to fit under the window. Remove enough of the foam insulation to make the cutting and fitting easy. After penciling your cutting line, use a straight edge and sharp knife to scribe the panel. Make your side cuts with snips. And break the excess material off by bending it. Then put the panel in place. To panel between two windows, cut the panel to size and leave the window trim loose on one side so you can slide the panel easily in place. Make your interlock firm and nail. Cut your panel to fit above the window, just as you did below the window. When you reach the eaves, measure the amount of space you must still cover, and then cut the last course to fit. Fur out if necessary to keep the right pitch in your top panel. And then nail undersill trim into the furring at the top of the wall. Finish off by sliding the panel into place. Now, some jobs include closing in the soffit with Alcoa aluminum siding. One way to do this is to apply the final panel directly over the furring without using undersill trim. Then place window and door trim at the corner of the eave. And into this trim, insert Alcoa vertical paneling cut to size. After paneling under the soffit with vertical siding, cut a horizontal panel to cover the fascia. Nail along the uppermost edge of this panel so the nail heads will be covered by the final accessory piece, or like a strip of window and door trim. Combining vertical paneling for the soffit and horizontal for the fascia on both the eave and rake makes a good-looking final touch from any angle. Many homes will have gables, but they're not difficult to handle. One way to fit your panels to the slope of the gable is to make a proper form. Take two short pieces of panel, interlock the first in the siding course below, and butt it up to the edge of the gable. Then lay the second short piece under the interlock so its left upper corner contacts the bottom edge of the gable. Mark the second panel where it meets the first. Starting from that mark, draw a line. And cut your pattern piece. Cut your panel to match that pattern piece. Now, fit the panel in place. Move upward in the same manner to complete the gable. But as you do, be sure to check the fit of the panels against the gable trim. If you find that the angle of the gable changes as you proceed, alter the cut as necessary. Vertical siding may also be applied for effect, especially on gables. To do this, lay a chalk line from each side of the wall at the point where it meets the rake. Strike it to line the top horizontal panel. Then, trim the panel along the line. After replacing the panel, nail vertical base flashing over the cut edge. Establish the starting point for your vertical siding by dropping a plumb line from the peak of the gable. Then strike a vertical chalk line 5 3/16 of an inch to one side of the plumb line. Trim the batten from the first vertical panel after it's been fitted to the rake. Place this cut edge along the chalk line and nail the first panel in position. Then slip the interlock of a piece of starter strip over and against the cut edge and nail it in place. Move left from center by applying a panel in the starter strip and continuing in the usual way. Move right by interlocking with the first panel. Vertical siding makes a good-looking gable, a fine finishing touch to a job both you and the homeowner can be proud of. New house or old, when you've done an application like that, you've earned the right to knock on every door in the neighborhood looking for business, and you'll get it. When you're out selling, sell the many different advantages of Alcoa Siding. Sell the wall of protection. Sell the wall of comfort. Sell the wall of beauty. All available in durable aluminum siding made by Alcoa. When you go out selling, take a sample along. Explain how Alclad makes for greatest durability. And it's the only aluminum siding made by Alcoa. Stress that Alcoa Alumalure finish. Explain how bonderizing aids in paint adherence. And the advantages of the foam insulation on the back, which combines with the reflective power of Alcoa aluminum foil to provide big fuel savings for your customers. Alcoa aluminum siding is easy to install. You've seen that. Well, it's even easier to sell. Remember, there are over 60 million homes in this country, a good share of them right in your own community. Well over 1 million more new ones being built every year. And every one of those homes has 4 sides. 4 big sides that you can cover with Alcoa aluminum siding. It's a big opportunity. Take advantage of it. It's yours. From Alcoa, Aluminum Company of America.